Okay, so we're going to be learning how to use the unit circle to determine sine, cosine, and tangent values. So we've talked about that cosine is the x value, sine is the y value, but we're going to go into detail with that now in the 5.4 notes. We really want to take our time and understand this. So back in previous notes, we talked about SOHCAHTOA, how sine is opposite over hypotenuse, cosine, I don't know why this duplicates this. Sorry if that happened in your notes. So sine is opposite over hypotenuse, cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, and tangent is opposite over adjacent. So in the unit circle, when we did our creation of it, we saw clearly, because we did it, the radius of the circle is 1. So that's the equivalent of the hypotenuse of the right triangle that would fit right into the unit circle. And so for all of these, the hypotenuse will be 1. So that boils it down to something a little simpler. So we know that the unit circle will always have a radius of 1. That means that the hypotenuse of any triangle that we draw should always be 1. This is in the unit circle. We can see that the opposite leg of any triangle in the unit circle is just going to be the height. So that's going to be equivalent to the vertical leg of the triangle. And that's just going to be the y value. And then we can see that the adjacent leg of the angle in the unit circle is equivalent. And maybe for vertical, we can also see that the adjacent leg of any triangle in the unit circle is equivalent to the horizontal leg of the triangle. And maybe we could say the y value here and the x value. So we can make the following generalizations. The sine is just going to boil down to y over 1, which is y. Cosine is going to be x over 1, which is x, and tangent is going to be y over x, because remember, tangent is opposite over adjacent. Now, the signs are going to vary depending on what quadrant we're in. So I want to show you how to do a few of these using the unit circle, and then I just really want you to practice. Again, I apologize for the double trig functions here. It should only ever be one. It's just a glitch in the computer translation. So let me show you how this works. This is the tangent at 60 degrees. So we'll look at our circle. We'll go to 60 degrees, which is here, 60 degrees. Actually, I'm going to show you on this circle here. So we'll go to 60 degrees, which is here, and I'm going to look at the ordered pairs. So tangent is y over x. So this is x and this is y. So y over x is going to be the square root of 3 over 2 over a half. So I'm going to come back down here, and it is the square root of 3 over 2 over a half. So to divide fractions, we're going to multiply by the reciprocal. So there's some computation here, but we have the skills to do it. So here the 2's cancel, and we get the square root of 3 over 1, which is just the square root of 3. So the tangent at 60 degrees is the square root of 3. Number 2, the sine of 225. So I'm going to go to 225 on my unit circle. So 225 is here, and I want the sine of it. The sine is the y value. So the y value is negative square root of 2 over 2. So I'll go back down here, and it is negative square root of 2 over 2. Now this question also asks for the reference angle and the quadrant. So that has nothing to do with sine. It just has to do with 225 degrees. So let's look at our unit circle. What's the reference angle for 225 degrees? That would be this angle here, and that would be 45 degrees. And I can see that I'm in quadrant 3. So 45 degrees is the reference angle, and that is in quadrant 3. Okay, how about the sine of 90? So I'll go to my circle, 90 degrees. Sine is the y value, so that would be 1. And that's how you think about these. You go to the place, and then you give the value that it asks for. The only one that requires making a fraction is tangent. So you would make the y over x for tangent. For cosine, you're simply going to grab the x value. So let's do number 4. The cosine at 150 degrees, I'm going to go to 150 degrees, and the cosine is x. And so that would be negative square root of 3 over 2. Negative square root of 3 over 2. But what was the reference angle at 150 degrees? And what quadrant is that? So 150 degrees is here. Here's the reference angle. That's just 30 degrees. And I'm in quadrant 2. So the reference angle, 30 degrees, and I'm in quadrant